Everybody.
Okay, yeah, we're good.
Everyone pose.
That's the thumbnail.
Shockers.
Welcome to episode 2. Second episode. This is ToonLads, the name change from Tooncast to ToonLads. We don't want to get in any legal trouble here. We're just four guys wanting to have some fun. So the name is now ToonLads, created by you, Gav. If you weren't here last week, just a quick recap, we counted down our top 10 favorite cartoons of all time for an introduction episode. All four of us had a good list. Go check that out. If you just want to get more of an introduction on who we are, I'll still do some names real quick. I am Mr. Shadley. This is Gav, Console Commander, and Cam.
It's never gonna stop being
Yeah,
funny.
never. Every single time I introduce you, it'll be funny. So,
Crap. Hold
if you watched
on.
last
On my
week,
list.
Go get it.
go get it before I
Kinda
tell them
need
what's
that.
going on this week.
Console Commander's off the podcast.
Guys, this is actually a serious video. Console Commander has been kicked off the podcast.
Because he's homeless.
Okay.
Alright,
Okay.
so if you watched last week, you know that this week's episode is revolving around Nickelodeon. Alright, boys, I asked you before the podcast started if you knew what Nickelodeon was called before it was called Nickelodeon. All three of you did not know what it was, so I will tell you Nickelodeon was originally called Pinwheel.
Ah.
Pinwheel was Nickelodeon's original name before it turned into Nickelodeon.
Is there a reason behind that?
I would have to look that up for you.
Okay.
I do not know
Still-
what the reason is. Maybe they just didn't like Pinwheel. My guess is way back, movie theaters were called Nickelodeon.
Phantom was the worst.
Really?
Yep, movie theaters were originally called Nickelodeons.
Huh.
But we're not talking about movie theaters here. We're talking about the kids channel Nickelodeon that is still currently producing some pretty good content as of right now. Shaking your head. Yeah, this video is not sponsored by Nick.
Although we would like to be sponsored.
Yeah. We would definitely sell out for Nickelodeon. Get our own show. Hell yeah.
Oh, we'll be canceled pretty soon.
Alright. So, if last week was about our favorite cartoons in general, this week's top 10, we're hitting you with our top 10, is going to be about our top 10 favorite Nickelodeon shows of all time. The couple rules were no live action shows. So, no Legends of the Hidden Temple, no
iCarly.
Kenan and Kel, no iCarly,
Mr. Media.
no Mr. Mean, no Riggy, Dicky, Nicky, and Don.
You said it wrong.
I haven't watched it.
Game Shakers, come on.
No shows that might be half and half, so a show like Blue's Clues would not have been allowed on this list.
Although I wish it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my apologies. And if you paid attention last week, we had a couple shows on Nick that were on all four of our lists. Whatever show was the top-rated list on their list for Nickelodeon is excluded from this list. So,
For example, mine was Avatar, so that's
Yeah.
not allowed on my
And
list.
mine was the Octonauts, so that's also not allowed.
and
Hey, Arnold.
Hey Arnold, and I had My Life as a Teenage Robot. So those four shows, for us, at least, are not going to be represented by us for this time. Maybe one of the other one of us has it. I went first last week with my favorite show of all time, number 10. So I'm going to give it up to one of you three first for your number 10.
Console
And
Should
Commander.
I go this way so it's not like
Yeah.
awkward? The
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I got first.
Cam, you can go ahead and do the
Let me
honors
pull out my
going
list.
first. What is your number 10 favorite Nickelodeon show of all time?
Don't rush me. Number 10.
number 10.
Look at
Number
Let's see.
7.
Number 10, I had Sanjay and Craig.
Sanjay and Craig. Yeah. I love
Uh,
Sanjay and Craig.
It was a good show. I
And
thought.
honestly, it reminded me a lot of like regular show, where it was basically like the same inside joke type of thing with how they acted.
What was it about?
It was the kid that had the snake.
The Pet Snake.
They could talk.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Pretty alright show. I definitely was not terrible.
No, what?
I wouldn't call it one of my favorites, but it certainly was not a show where I can look at it and say,
It's not
hey.
Bunsen is a beast level. Terrible.
Yeah, it's not like, correct me if I'm wrong, Super Duper Sumos, which aired on Nickelodeon at the time.
Really? Oh my
Yeah. They've got butts and guts.
god.
My butt's big.
No.
Do you like a favorite episode?
Yeah, do you have a favorite
Comes to
character, episode?
Well, first of all, Sanjay and Craig was not really like a well-known show for me.
Mhm.
I didn't see many episodes.
Mhm.
I can barely name 10 Nickelodeon shows because I am not a Nickelodeon
Yeah,
kid.
all of us here are Cartoon Network.
Yeah, we're all Cartoon
Yeah.
Network guys. You paid attention last week. I did ask the question, what were we, Nick, Disney, or Cartoon Network kids? All four of us agreed that we were all Cartoon Network kids. That's why next week, when we do our Cartoon Network episode, it'll probably be a lot harder for us to make top 10s for.
Yeah. Do you think whether or not somebody's like a Cartoon Network kid or something, they're like a Nickelodeon kid? Do you think it's like a geographical thing?
It's a good question.
That's a good question. Drop in the comments where you're from and what channel did you like? Did you like Disney Channel? Did you like Cartoon Network? Or did you like Nickelodeon?
Maybe the state.
Or Boomerang?
Or Boomerang, if you liked that kind of stuff.
Or Fox Kids.
Or WB Kids. Or 4Kids.
4Kids.
PBS Kids.
Or PBS Kids, if you don't have,
Caillou.
I mean,
Yes.
Or
sometimes...
if you just watch CNN. I mean,
Yeah.
not all of us are lucky enough to watch some great cartoons.
Alright, let's give it up to Console Commander for his number 10 spot.
I'm gonna have to put Ren and Stimpy at my number 10. I think it deserves an
Ren-
honorable
Ren and
mention
Stimpy?
at least because it is a classic.
It's a
It's
classic.
definitely a thing that a lot of I'm sure your parents at least remember it a lot.
Yeah.
And it was also really wacky and kind of dark as well.
Didn't
Yeah.
they try to bring it back on Spike?
They did try to bring it back on Spike.
Did that go well? No.
No, it was so bad. Ren and Stimpy certainly is a... Were you more a Ren or more a Stimpy guy?
Stimpy.
Stimpy, what you go? Ren or Stimpy?
I wasn't really into the show.
Were you
I was
into
like,
something?
when I was really little, like my mom would watch it and stuff, but I had like this, what do you call it, like a stuffed animal type thing, but I don't really remember it all.
I'm kind of a in between. I do like Ren a little bit more than I like Stimpy though. I just think he's a funny character. What about you, Cam? Ren or Stimpy?
I was never really
Really
into
into
that. I tried to watch it when it came back on Spike, but
Cameron.
Yeah, Ren and Stimpy was not a bad show, but boy, the creator sure is a
hard to work with.
John Kay was always super hard to work with because he was a perfectionist and just a straight up like douche to like everyone that worked for him. That's why he hasn't had a show like in forever.
Kind of like George Lucas.
You think if he ever got a show, it would be half as good?
If he got another show, I'd probably be pretty surprised about it with all the news stuff that came out about him recently, and then all the stuff that he did on Ren and Stimpy. That would be pretty surprising. But I will do my number 10. My number 10 is Back at the Barnyard.
Okay, I'm
I
ready.
told you it would be your number 10. I knew it.
Perhaps.
I wanted to put it as my number 1.
We all know what our number ones are going to be
Yeah,
across the board.
across the board.
Funny
Back
to
at the
say.
Barnyard, based off the movie, which was not as good as a TV show, but it was just the TV show. The
Hold up,
animals-
wait, what?
I think the TV show showed up a lot more in meme culture and stuff.
It
than
did,
the,
yeah,
because the
Oh,
TV
yeah.
the TV show was really funny.
yeah.
You didn't like the movie?
No,
I don't
didn't
remember
mind
the movie that
but
much.
but the TV show is definitely better than the movie.
I agree with
Okay.
Shad at least.
It was.
I
funnier.
remember the TV show a lot more than I remember
Yeah.
the movie.
I mean, it was just a funny show. I mean, they had a lot of really cool characters. Otis was cool. Pig, my personal favorite character, he was always just really funny. They all had a really good character dynamic with all the characters. And that's really all I gotta say about it because it's my number 10.
Yeah.
Gav, I'm gonna give it up to you, brother.
My number 10 is Chalk Zone.
Chalk Zone.
Yeah.
Rudy's got the chalk.
Never
Used to
seen it.
watch-
Show, never saw it.
I used to watch it as a kid a lot, and like I always thought it was cool how we could just like
Yeah.
you know make stuff,
I agree.
like be creative and just make all these wacky things, and
I love Chalk Zone. I not
don't really remember it a whole lot because again it was a long time ago when I watched it, but It was cool as a kid.
Chalk Zone was definitely really cool. I agree with you. I think the sort of premise about it is just
What was the premise?
there's a kid named Rudy, and he likes drawing art onto the chalkboard, and he finds a way into this world where any like chalk art that had been erased lives in that world. So he just goes on adventures within that world, and there's always a new like music video during the episode. So it was actually a really good show. And I think you made a really good choice putting it on your list. Not on my list, but
Yeah.
I think it definitely honorable mention to go on the list. All right, Cam, we're gonna go to you. Your number 9.
Rugrats.
Rugrats.
Rugrats is definitely a piece of its time. I don't think it really would hold up today, but I really enjoyed it watching reruns as a kid.
Okay.
I always thought just the whole like Angelica bullying the babies. I always kind of liked Angelica.
I'm a
I know
chunky
many
guy.
people don't.
I think the older you got, the more you realized what her family dynamic was like.
Yeah.
You grew to like actually appreciate how her character was.
Yeah.
Because I knew whenever I was younger, I was like, wow, this Angelica person, she's.
Oh, in the movie, Rugrats in Paris, I liked it. It was one of my favorite.
I like
I
the
know
first
you don't
one
like
a
it.
little bit more. Rugrats in Paris was.
Is there a movie where they like go to the jungle or something?
Yeah, Rugrats Go Wild. That was the
Yeah.
crossover they did with the Wild Thornberries.
Yeah. I remember
This
that.
is definitely an M movie. Not that good of a movie.
Tommy Pickles.
Tommy Pickles, Dill Pickles.
That's almost as good as Hoagie.
Hoagie is the greatest name you can give to a cartoon
Who would
character.
win that fight, Hoagie or Tommy Pickles?
Are we talking about from Grown Up or?
Yeah, all grown up Tommy Pickles or baby Tommy Pickles?
To make it fair, we'll make it all grown.
Oh man, I think I'm gonna give it up to Hoagie.
I think Hoagie will win.
Dude, he's part of the kids next door.
advantage.
Yeah, he is part of the kids next door. Tommy and all grown ups just kind of like your.
Can we get a death battle, please?
At Death Battle, Tommy Pickles versus Hoagie number 2 from Kids Next Door. Make it happen. Alright.
That would be an episode I'd pay to watch.
Yeah. Speaking of people that didn't like Angelica or maybe loved Angelica, my sister actually loved Angelica.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rugrats was her favorite show. She loved Angelica. Angelica was like her favorite character. She had a game.
Was it the dress up one?
I'm pretty
For
sure.
PlayStation 1?
No. Unless if they made that game for the Game Boy. I'd have to find out which one it is. But she had an Angelica-style game for the Game Boy. And I'm pretty sure you're probably... Because I'm like
It might have been one of those games that was released. Like, they were like,
Yeah.
we're releasing it on PlayStation, Game Boy, your calculator.
Nintendo Wii DS. Alright, I'm going to give it up to you, Double C, Console Commander. What's your number 9?
Double D.
I'm gonna throw Danny Phantom there.
Danny Phantom.
I really have a soft spot for that show, especially because of the Outcome at Karibo video. That video really pulled me
Linked in
back
the
in to watch.
description.
Like, I actually went and watched a couple episodes of that after I saw that video.
Link in the
Good show.
description. Link in the description.
That video is going to be linked in all of our podcasts.
Even if it's not mentioned at all.
Like the ending, kind of like movie to the series.
Sucked.
I didn't
You
see
saw
it.
that? I thought it was alright.
Though they did make a really fun Flash game on Nick.com. It was a fighter that revolved around the movie. Danny Phantom, really good pick. Butch, one of Butch Boy Hartman's creations, not his best one.
Because that's tough.
Okay, Shep.
We're
You
gonna
know how
announce-
he collects all like the ghosts to help him?
Yeah.
It's like
Like-
Pokemon.
All of them are like so hard throughout the series to fight, but he collects them in all one big like net, like
Yeah.
Shout out to Box Ghost.
box.
Ghost.
High Five Ghost.
High Five Ghost. I have a Nick Picks DVD with a Danny Phantom.
What Nick picks?
4. It's the one that has the episode where he plays the game and his teacher wants him to go.
Game over.
I have the
You've
one.
lost the
I have
game.
the Nick picks that has the episode with the he's a bully.
Oh, okay, yep. Alright, well, Danny Phantom, a good pick.
Mhm.
Double
Good
C,
Nick pick.
good. Our Nick picks for the best cartoons of all time. Number 9 for
Trademark.
me, Invader Zim. I put Invader Zim as my number 9.
Not Fanboy Shundown.
No. Fanboy and Chum Chum is not on my list.
Oh, come on.
That's disappointing.
Can't wait to see my number one then.
Oh boy. But Invader Zim, we did talk about Invader Zim last week.
Yeah.
I did talk about how I enjoyed the more darker dynamic of Invader Zim. It was able to be really dark, but it didn't rely on it being dark, which I thought was cool. It definitely also had comedy inside of it, and it's better to be a show that I would not have found Invader Zim entertaining if it would have just been complete darkness the whole time. But it's like a dark comedy, which I mean
I think that's probably the difference between Courage the Cowardly Dog and Invader Zim, because Courage definitely relied on a lot of its shock factor, a lot more than
it was definitely
Invader Zim did.
It was definitely still funny, but a lot of the creatures and things that they did in Courage, I can definitely agree with.
There's a robot.
And I didn't really find Courage
Invader
funny.
Zim?
Yeah. Gur. Yeah. Okay. He was hilarious. Probably my favorite character.
Yeah, and I didn't
being
find
my favorite
Courage the Cowardly Dog really funny whenever I was growing up. I kind of just watched it for more of that shock value than I did for the actual comedy.
It was better Goosebumps. It was every episode was a different monster.
Yeah.
Courage had to fight it.
Shout out to the Goosebumps movies.
I thought Courage himself was funny.
Yeah, the way he acted was definitely comedic.
Definitely the way that he just took all. I mean, it was really cool too because he took all the abuse from Eustace and all that stuff. But we'll save Courage for next week when we do Cartoon Network. Let's get back into Invader Zim. Invader Zim definitely had that shock value inside of it, but I agree with you. It didn't rely on it being a shock value show. Richard Horvitz, the voice of Zim, he just nailed it on the head voicing Zim. Zim's just a really cool character. There's a lot of really, really awesome characters in that show too. Gaz and Gur and Dib, all those characters. I just think it was definitely a really good show.
It was pretty cool how Zim was basically excommunicated also.
Yeah.
That was his
The Mighty Toss were
backstory
funny.
thing.
I like those guys too. I'm gonna give it up to you, Gav. Your number 9 pick.
Fanboy Chum Chum.
Wow.
Staying silent. Staying silent for
Okay, seriously though, I liked that show a lot as a kid.
I did.
Me too.
The guy who owned the comic shop, was it a comic shop?
Yeah.
I don't remember his name, but he was a cool character. I liked him quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It was too much for me.
I think it was just an over the top wacky show.
Even for little, whenever year that show came 2012, 2010 maybe. Even then, when I would watch it, I just found Fanboy and Chum Chum both just so
Shelley,
obnoxious.
I guess your IQ is not high enough to understand the show.
obnoxious and annoying and irritating.
What is your IQ though?
Not high enough for Fanboy Chum Chum, apparently.
Negative infinity, since I don't like Fanboy and Chum Chum.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, the comic book guy was maybe the only character that I found cool. Fanboy was annoying, Chum Chum was annoying.
They were just both idiots.
Yeah, Kyle, the wizard guy, he was all right, but that's because I related to him because I also just wouldn't mind killing Fanboy and Chum Chum. The guys at the
You're a little homicidal there.
The bully guy, he was really weird. He was a pretty bad one-sided character. There was the Michael Jackson ripoff character.
There was just no multifaceting of the show whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I just found it.
Wasn't a show I got super invested in or anything. That's for sure.
Yeah,
it was
that's why
just
it's
for
obviously, but
basic entertainment.
Yeah, it's one of those one-hit
something to
shows.
Sit down and just watch.
It's just I can respect your opinion though. Remember,
it was entertaining.
I mean, what was the drink that they always wanted?
Frosty Freeze.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember all the episodes where it was just. It reminded me of Ed, Edd and Eddy in that way, where they were all
jawbreakers.
Yeah, where they're always trying to get this one thing.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, if you don't like something, don't let somebody else tell you not to like it. If you like Fanboy and Chum Chum, then like Fanboy.
Unless it's homicide.
It's number 9.
It's number 9. That's why. If it would have been top 5, I'd probably still be talking about how much I hate it. But you put it at number 9, so I could definitely respect that.
We just talked about this also. We're all Cartoon Network kids.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I promise Yeah.
throw in some of these, to be
I
honest.
promise next week's Cartoon Network episode is
Yeah.
probably going to be.
I know.
Listen, yeah, you're getting kicked off the podcast.
No, that's
I
Planet
mean,
Sheen.
I don't have Planet Sheen on
Unless
the
if I
list,
said
so
Fanboy and Chum Chum
You
2,
did.
in which case
You did.
I'll be making a follow-up video announcing who's kicked off of the podcast in a couple days. Cameron, your number 8 pick.
My number 8, The Penguins of Madagascar.
Yeah,
The
that's a
animated
good one.
series. I loved it so much. I went and saw the movie in 2014. I liked the movie too.
I have not seen the movie.
The movie was good.
I didn't realize there was a movie, actually.
It was
Yeah,
great.
I went and saw it with my family, and it was a pretty good family outing. I mean, I cannot remember much from the movie. It's been like 5 years, but
did you like Madagascar?
I mean, like the original movie.
Yeah.
I didn't really like it. I only liked the penguins,
Yeah.
so I guess that's why I was more into
Yeah.
Who's your favorite penguin?
Kowalski.
Kowalski.
Analysis.
No, you know
It's gotta be Kowalski.
What was the stupid one's name?
Rika.
Yeah,
I
Rika.
agree.
Oh, what was your favorite
Rika.
episode, Cam?
Rika.
Crap.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can't really remember, but
We're to watch Penguins of Madagascar on Hulu right after the podcast, boys. Just like
I guess
last week. We did it with Squidbillies last week. We're doing it with the Penguins this week.
yeah, this will be good.
Okay, my favorite episode definitely though from that show was the one where they got into the cage match against the giant buffed out rat.
Oh my god.
Do you remember that one?
No.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah, what's that
I
one?
agree with that one, actually.
Yeah.
All right, Double C. I'm going to give it up to you for your number 8.
I also had Fanboy and Chum Chum, but we already talked about it, so I don't really have much to say.
Yeah, not much to say.
But I definitely just like I think it may have been more of a I was bored thing whenever I was younger, and I would just like get home, lay down on the couch, and just be like, I don't want to do homework, so
You
I'm just
know,
gonna
from
watch Fanboy and Chum
school,
Chum.
it's on TV. Just put it on.
Yeah.
Like, you don't not like it, so
I'm
Yeah,
surprised
legit.
that they didn't put that on
Like the late night stuff, or like
you know,
right
the
before
the early stuff, or like all the popular shows. I don't recall that show being that popular.
It really wasn't. I don't think it got many seasons.
Got like 1, I think, maybe 2.
yeah,
if you
definitely got
consider
more
them
than one.
seasons.
My question is if it's that bad, I don't understand how it got past the the storyboard.
I think it was that bad. Like,
I mean, yeah, I think
why do you?
I think if we went back and
I think
watched it,
Nickelodeon does
Even-
really shows.
even back then, I mean, it's just a show where, I mean, obviously, I like SpongeBob, and SpongeBob
It's the
sometimes
same
a typical-
concept, but
sometimes
executed.
a typical SpongeBob episode can be SpongeBob annoying the hell out of somebody and him getting away like scot-free. But even then, there's times where SpongeBob will annoy somebody and he'll get his comeuppings and he'll like learn a lesson. Fanboy and Chum Chum annoy people until they actually cannot take it anymore, and then like nothing ever happens to them. That really annoys me.
So it's like Annoying Orange.
That's like annoying. It's just like Annoying Orange.
let's not
Annoying-
remember that show.
Annoying character does something annoying and nothing bad happens to them. It pisses me off so bad. At least if you're gonna have annoying characters, let them learn a lesson, or let them have their comeuppance, or let them maybe even lose sometimes. But with Fanboy and Chum Chum, it's just they just continuously go on and on and on and on, and nothing happens. That's just too much for me. I mean, Nickelodeon back in 2010 was pumping out things. They rejected Adventure Time
Really?
for
Yes.
Fanboy and Chum Chum.
What a mistake.
That's a kick in the balls right
What
there.
Wow.
a mistake.
That, I mean, I can defend that a
Did
little
not know
bit.
that.
I can defend it a little bit, but only because they might have watched the pilots for both Fanboy and Chum Chum and Adventure Time and thought that they could make something better. Because obviously back then they didn't know Adventure Time was going to become this humongous.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they did not take that show. Cartoon
Mhm.
Network turned it into something great.
Can't.
and
What are you doing?
I mean, you never know. The
Hamilton
alternate
Alternate Sons
universe.
poster.
Yeah.
The alternate universe where they took Adventure Time. Maybe Nickelodeon did do something good with it. But I agree. I think with how
I have no
Nickelodeon is,
Who
the
knows how
SpongeBob
Adventure Time would have
standard-
turned out if
Exactly.
it did go to Nick? Like,
I mean,
could have been totally different.
I mean, if you look at the the way Nickelodeon treats their cartoons as opposed to Cartoon Network, I think Nickelodeon's definitely a lot more on the think they're on the safe side where they have a lot of shows that are like the one-trick ponies
Mm-hmm.
that definitely cater to smaller children a lot more.
If Nickelodeon, Nickelodeon, what they'll do is they'll air your show on prime time for like a month. If your show isn't a hit, your show gets replaced.
Just
Your time
SpongeBob
slots get
effect.
replaced with either SpongeBob or Loud House, and your show gets dumped online or gets dumped on Nicktoons. That makes me so mad that they do stuff like that to cartoons. They did it with Teenage Robot. They did it with Korra, and they did it with Harvey Beaks. All three phenomenal shows that Nickelodeon refused to continue playing because of ratings.
Unbelievable.
I mean,
exactly.
We're
I
not
mean-
just hating on Nickelodeon. This is just facts.
It's just facts, yeah. Like
Yeah.
I love Nickelodeon. Like when I was a kid, like with SpongeBob, like if you opened a portal and went back and met me 10 years ago, I'd probably have a SpongeBob shirt on. I'd probably still have a SpongeBob like pillow, a SpongeBob blanket. I mean, I'm 19, so maybe go a little farther back, but I mean, I don't think you should ever judge a show on whether or not it's gonna be an instant hit. And it's not even if it gets good ratings. It has to get great ratings. Like the only show that has been able to do that is like Loud House. Loud House is the only other the only show that comes to my mind that survived that standard of come out with a cartoon and it's a humongous hit and it's going to continue to get new episodes. They're even making a Loud House spinoff right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's about the Mexican family that one of the
Oh.
sisters is dating. I mean, it just makes me so upset that they'll let these shows go because of the fact that they don't do how they want it to do automatically, and that's toy sales, merchandise sales. And
I think they have their standards set at the SpongeBob standard.
exactly. We
And
talked about that
Way
last
too
week.
high.
But if your show's not an instant
Can't
hit,
do that.
yeah, exactly. You should not judge a show based off of the fact that it does not become a humongous hit right off the bat.
And
Instant classic.
Yeah, and I think the problem is too is like even SpongeBob didn't start off as like an instant hit. either.
Exactly. Rugrats was Nickelodeon's #1 show until the Yellow Sponge came in and just booted those babies.
That's kind of messed up, man.
I mean, it's true. Rugrats was in the 90s what SpongeBob is today. Rugrats was everywhere.
Reptar bars.
Reptar bars.
Maybe
Yeah,
we'll
and
on the
even then-
podcast.
You know what? We're gonna do that. We're gonna
It's
have.
just
We're gonna have. We're gonna have.
chocolate.
It's chocolate with
But it turned
with like icing inside of it. They
Doesn't it
sold.
turn your tongue green?
Yes, it did.
Did they actually have
Can
it?
we do like
Yeah.
a
When-
bunch feed? $1 Reptar bar versus $1,000 Reptar
All right, so
bar.
I'm gonna move on. Actually.
Yeah.
Enough ranting about Nickelodeon because we're supposed to be like loving it right now. Please sponsor us. Number
I
8.
don't think that's gonna happen.
Especially after that rant we just went on.
Yep. Number 8. Wild Thornberries.
Tough one.
When I was a kid, I was always really, really into animals. Very, very super into animals. I grew up with shows like Zaboomafu. Wild Thornberries was just no different. It taught me a lot about animals. I mean, the plot's cool. It's just this girl. She's with her family that make a nature show.
They're like British or something.
Yeah, and she talks to animals, and it's not just your average zebra, horse, monkey. Like they
Zorse.
had specific specific animals like leopards and all kinds of different stuff. Nigel Thornberry also is just a hit of a character. He was always definitely one of the best cartoon dads.
And he's also hit meme territory as well.
Yep. And when he was in the Rugrats Go Wild movie we were talking about earlier, one of the very few good scenes of that movie is definitely when he's trying to comfort the kids from almost drowning. Like that scene's awesome. Tim Curry voices him, and Tim Curry in general is just a really good actor. I'm gonna give it up to you, Gav. Your number 8.
Number 8 is El Tigre.
Number 8.
Is that what the little Lucha Libre?
Yeah. I don't even know how it worked. Did he like?
Well,
He was like a
he,
superhero
it was a bunch of
type
them.
thing?
yeah, he was like a superhero, but his dad was like the world's best superhero, and his grandpa
Was
was
the villain?
The villain,
Yeah.
and he'd always like have to choose sides.
I kind of like that because like both my dad and my grandpa don't get along, and that cartoon kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Because I had to do that sometimes, like growing up. Like, oh man, like, am I gonna agree with my grandpa here in this like predicament argument? Or
He was a cool character too, like Manny Rivera.
Yeah.
He was a sweet character. His girlfriend, I can't remember what her name was. She was my favorite character. But I also am a big fan of stylized like punk girl characters and stuff. But that's why I like Raven.
Who was the donkey dude? Like he wore like the donkey costume. Like he had like the ears and stuff. I know it's been. It really has been.
That's the problem with these shows. I haven't watched them.
It really
years.
is. Like I said, I promise next week Cartoon Network it's going to be so
Uh-huh.
much better than this.
My knowledge on these
Yeah.
cartoons is like not very good.
We'll skip that question and we'll go to Cam
Yeah.
for
Move on.
Cam's number, I believe 7. Come on, Cam. Gotta get the list right.
Don't rush me.
Don't rush me. Rocco's Modern Life.
Rocco's Modern
I just like
Life.
the way Rocco talked and the art style.
Hey, Peppa.
Favorite episode is when Rocco almost gets seduced by.
By Mrs. Big Ed.
Yeah,
Hello, Rocco.
that makes me sick to my stomach.
They watch the TV show, the mating habits of bullfrogs.
Oh my god.
And he's like very educational, and she has like her pant leg up. It's so funny.
What an adult humor in a kid's show.
Yeah, Joe Murray created that show. Man, he went on to make Camp Lazlo another really good show.
Really?
But that one was aired on Cartoon Network, wasn't it?
Yep, we'll save that. Rocco definitely was ahead of its time with its adult jokes. They ate the choky chicken. There was an amusement ride called Elevator to Heck. And my favorite episode is actually the one with the bus driver. Where Tom Kenny plays the bus, like the very controlling bus driver.
Yeah.
I liked that one. I know you said you weren't a Rocco guy.
No, I just didn't get into it at
Didn't
all.
get
It's not
into
like I
it,
didn't like it. I just never really watched it.
Yeah,
a whole
Rocco
bunch.
was definitely ahead of its time. Noel and Double C, we're gonna give it up to you for your number.
All
7.
right. Planet Sheen.
Okay.
I'm coming out of the follow-up episode. Nolan's gone.
We have this rule.
No. Here's my thing though. Is I actually watched Planet Sheen quite a bit whenever it was out. Like I definitely spent time watching Planet Sheen, and
Okay.
like I said in the last episode, I watched a lot of the Jimmy Neutron movie, and I definitely liked Sheen as a character because he's just like this bumbling idiot that is like really into Ultra Lord.
My only issue.
You was waiting. No,
I- My only issue with Planet Sheen and Jimmy Neutron Sheen is Jimmy Neutron Sheen's an idiot, but he still has like a general understanding of what would be going on at the time. Where Planet Sheen is actually like completely brain dead.
Yeah.
That's
And he'll
true.
be getting chased down by a monster. He'll be like, "Oh wait, I gotta
Do you
stop
think-
and use the
Do
bathroom."
you think Jimmy would like? Does Jimmy know his rocket's gone?
Yeah, but he in the show he's like millions of light years away from Earth, so Jimmy would have to probably rebuild that powerful.
What
rocket.
is like the plot? I don't even know. Like, how did he even get?
Sheen's a
there?
retarded. Like, he gets into his rocket. He's like, "Let me press all the buttons."
We're gonna have to bleep that R word out, bro.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're bleeping it
Leave
out.
that G word out too.
Yeah, take the G word out. This is a family-friendly podcast. PG-13 at best.
I think we said some bad things last episode.
I think
Yeah.
Nolan said the S word like one time, so that's nothing compared to what you already said 2 swears.
Don't worry, I got one strike left. Don't worry.
Yeah, you got 1 strike left. If you don't know, last week I said that if you put Planet Sheen on your list, you're going to be off the podcast. So everybody, make sure you put an F in chat from my boy Console Commander over here.
He's out of here.
He's now homeless.
he'll be
Now
down.
he's on the
He's-
podcast.
Probably out.
Planet
He
Sheen.
better head out.
I'm about to head out. My number 7 is actually Ren and Stimpy. I did really enjoy the feel of Ren and Stimpy. We already went over how John K is just the sheen of the animation industry. I guess my favorite episode of Ren and Stimpy is probably the rubber nickel salesman episode, where they go to Mr. Horse's house and he has he's like, "You have any rubber walrus protectors?" And holds up this walrus, and the house is like, "Call the police." Yeah, I always thought that was really funny. Ren and Stimpy also had very distinctive voices. Like you could listen to Stimpy and you'd hear Larry from the Three Stooges. Ren, I don't know where Ren came from, but Ren also has that very, very psychotic voice that really does match his character. When Billy West played Ren and Stimpy, he really nailed those two on the head as well. But yeah, not too much to say about Ren and Stimpy. We already did go over that classic. Quick trivia question for the boys. I'm going to let you guys guess. Gab, I'm going to start with you. What were the 3 first aired Nicktoons? What were the first Nicktoons? There were 3 of them.
Probably Rugrats is one of them.
Yeah, that's correct. There's one.
Okay.
Can I answer too?
Yeah, we're gonna
Good on the line.
take some turns. Go down the line.
I don't
Don't
know.
know. All right, Nolan,
No.
we'll go to you.
Got one.
Definitely Rugrats, obviously.
Okay.
Ren and Stimpy. Is that one of those?
I won't tell you. I'll let you do your third guess, and then I'll
I
tell you
think
if they're
so.
correct or not.
I'm just trying to think of classic cartoons.
Yeah. You
And-
might not get the third one. We have not gone over it yet.
I can't say.
And say,
No.
what about you, Cam?
I think I for sure have 2 of them. Rugrats and Doug.
Okay.
The third one,
Arnold?
it's not Hey Arnold. In my head, I really want to say Angry Beavers. So we'll go with that. I don't know if
I'd
it's right.
probably go with that guess as well.
All right. So the results are Cam came the closest. Well, actually, Cam and Nolan both came the closest. They were tied with 2. It was Doug, Ren and Stimpy, and Rugrats were the first 3 Nicktoons to air on Nickelodeon.
Nice.
Close.
Close. Cam said Doug, and I thought he was gonna follow it up with Ren and Stimpy, but I was wrong.
I didn't know Ren and
You're
Stimpy.
fired.
If you don't know that reference,
If you don't know that reference, get on Netflix.
You were the lucky ones.
Let's get that.
Yep. Go ahead,
All
Dad.
right.
We're gonna hit it up to you.
Danny Phantom,
Danny Phantom.
number
Is
7.
he a fan?
Shout out to him, Kurt.
Yeah.
Link in the
Description.
description.
Yeah, that was like another good cartoon I used to watch. Get home from school, just pop it on. I always looked forward to watching that. It was one of those ones where I got like kind of invested into it actually.
Yeah.
Like I didn't just sit down to just watch it.
Yeah, I
And,
can agree with that.
like it was solid. It was a solid show.
Definitely Butch Hartman's second best cartoon. All right, Cam, we're gonna give it up to you for your number 6 pick.
pull up the old list. My number 6 is Tough Puppy, and just so I stay on the podcast, Tough Puppy is the greatest creation.
Remember, don't let my opinions control you.
It's the best.
Shad, you're off the podcast.
I don't know, Tough Puppy. I mean, I love Jerry Trainer, so it always gets
That's
a high.
probably a little bit of bias.
That's a little bit of bias there. I always thought the gadgets that they used and just the scenario. Tough Puppy was kind of fun too.
I liked it.
Definitely
That's what I
had
did.
that Butch Hartman humor of something.
Not funny
happening.
enough to go in my top 5 though.
I can agree with that. Even though you're fired because it's not your number 1. Just kidding. Nolan, number 6.
Okay, my number 6. I'm probably gonna have to throw Sanjay and Craig there.
All right.
Like I said, it definitely had that same feel as regular show to me. And whenever regular show wasn't on and that's what I was feeling, I'd definitely switch to Nickelodeon to watch some Sanjay and Craig. I think the episode that I remember the most was the one whenever Sanjay's mom did the first ever butt transplant.
Oh, their neighbor.
Yeah.
That dude had some cake, bro.
Yeah. Oh, and there was the There was also the episode whenever they went and ate the really hot wings at the arcade.
Yeah.
That was also
Yeah.
another
Yeah, I
classic.
remember that.
I will admit the one joke they had in that show with the wings is they wanted. I think they wanted free wings, so they asked the woman that worked there. She was like, "I found these in the dumpster," and they all have faces, and then they go, "We'll give you some and now love." And they just devour them. I almost just said, "Yeah." I'm gonna go to my number 6. My number 6 is Jimmy Neutron.
You're
One
Jimmy
strike.
Neutron.
Just another name, just another day in the Neutron household. But I think Jimmy Neutron was cool. Definitely a lot of the gadgets that he had, I always thought were super neat. A lot of really cool characters out of Jimmy, Carl, Sheen. Jimmy's dad's probably the best character. He was always really constantly funny whenever
What
he
was
was
the
on
dog's
screen.
name? Is there
Goddard.
Goddard.
Goddard was cool.
Bark,
Joey
bark, bark.
Soy. Soy Sauce 22 was Goddard. Remember
I
that?
didn't know that.
Like in the description.
Yeah, I know, but
Well, we'll put in the
honorable
description.
mention.
We'll put you in the description. Honorable mention.
Soy
All right,
Sauce
we're gonna give it to you, Gab. Number 6.
Fairly Odd Parents.
Fairly
I know
Odd
we were
Parents.
kind of like dishing
Same,
on it.
same. That was
Yeah.
also my number
That's
6.
number 6 already.
Yeah.
I can.
So-
I can respect it.
Yeah, it was. You know, we talked about it last podcast how it was like kind of the same thing every single time. But like, I like the, the movies. Like the movies were pretty cool.
Well, didn't you put on your last list the Jimmy and Timmy Power Hour?
Yeah, you did.
I mentioned it, I think, with
Yeah.
Jimmy Neutron. And
Oh yeah, that was your favorite episode. Yeah.
Yeah, like I guess, like I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. Like I don't know. Not like I got
It was
super
definitely-
And the
invested.
theme song was catchy as well. Yeah.
I will admit the theme song is catchy, but have you heard the version of the theme song that they made when they introduced that new girl, Chloe?
Oh no, I
Chloe.
stopped watching
okay,
when
so-
they introduced new characters.
You remember the baby, right?
Yeah, I stopped watching it. Like Poof. Like,
Okay.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
So after that, they included a dog, and then after,
I remember that.
After that,
Oh.
they did a plot line where fairies. There was a shortage of fairies, so fairies had to share kids, and Timmy had to share Cosmo and Wanda with a girl named Chloe.
Hmm.
It was bad.
I think. You know how we were talking about how like they constantly are like doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I feel like every time their ratings started to drop on that, speaking of the Nickelodeon thing,
Yeah.
they start adding something in to try to pull people back in.
Especially since it's been like, is it still like?
I'm
No,
pretty sure
new
it's, oh, it's
episodes
not a
are
thing
getting
anymore.
done.
Nope, it's done.
Okay.
It's done.
It went for quite a while. Though.
Which doesn't work at Nickelodeon right
Oh,
now either.
wait, who is the big buff?
Jordan Bob Strangle.
No, the Hispanic one.
Juan Decima.
Can we talk about how Poof is Juan Decimo's kid?
Yeah,
Like,
the purple.
yep.
Dang. I do like Cosmo. I think Cosmo's funny.
Cosmo.
I really do think Cosmo's funny. We're going to give it up to you, Cam, for your number 5.
Just squeezing into my number 5, Loud House. I think Loud House's humor is pretty funny. I didn't grow up in a household like that, so I can't really get most of it, but I understand how he would be. I always just some of the episodes like with the ghost of it, like Hunter.
Yeah.
That was fun. The Snow Day episode was always a good
Who's
one.
your favorite sister? You don't have to say the name. Just give me which one it is, and I can probably name off the sister.
Okay. Probably the one who plays guitar, like the gothic one.
Luna.
Luna, yeah.
That's my favorite too.
Yeah.
I like her.
What's
She's
up?
cool.
Good job.
The one episode I did watch of The Loud House, I just remember it being really wholesome, and that's kind of why I have
Yeah,
respect for
it's
it.
cool. It's definitely a slice of life.
It doesn't
I
rely
haven't
on
seen-
like stupid humor.
Yeah, I haven't
That's
seen
another
any of
show.
the newer episodes.
Me neither.
But as far as I remember watching Loud House, I thought it was also just really wholesome
Yeah.
and cool.
I think for me, my favorite sisters was definitely Luna, or what was the oldest one's name?
Lori.
Lori. I definitely related a lot with Lori because
Yeah.
she has to keep everything together in the house.
Yeah.
Like you
I can
definitely
agree with that.
can like understand what's going on with her.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
she's basically in charge of taking care of all of her siblings.
Yeah. Gab, do you have a favorite
I
sister?
haven't watched it
Don't
enough
watch it
to
enough.
really-
Okay, yeah.
I remember, I kind of like the goth one too.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
She was cool.
We'll give it to you.
The guitar one. Was she gone?
Well,
No, not really. She was punked.
Number 5.
Whatever.
Fairly Odd Parents.
Fairly Odd
That would have
Parents.
been my 5.
All right, we
Okay.
already went into a very topical discussion about Fairly Odd Parents.
Why is
So
it your number 5?
Fairly Odd Parents.
I
Remember
mean, why?
why was
Yeah,
it my
Just
number
real
5?
quick.
It was definitely my number 5 because it was a show I remember. I made this weird transition whenever I was growing up. Like, I definitely was still a Cartoon Network kid, but like, I started to look into Nickelodeon a lot more, and that was like my iCarly because I was watching that a lot with my sister and stuff.
shout out to a lot of the live action.
Because a lot of their stuff
too.
was actually good for live action.
Yeah, we might go into that after the top 10.
Unlike the cartoons, like unlike Cartoon Network's live action stuff where it was just garbage.
Yeah,
I think that's what Nickelodeon actually had going for it was its live action
Yeah.
stuff.
I can agree with that. That's why it was kind of hard for me to make. I can agree, kind of hard for me to make a top 10 Nick shows, solely because of the fact that a lot of the stuff I grew up with Nick, outside of SpongeBob, was like Teenage Robot, iCarly. I did as a kid. I liked Victorious,
Drake and Josh.
Drake and Josh,
Which is a
awesome.
classic.
Drake and Josh.
Josh is way up there on my list.
If this wasn't just straight cartoons, I would probably have had Drake and Josh and iCarly on my list.
We should definitely do I think a live action episode. Even though it's a cartoon podcast, I
Be
think
better.
I
I
can
watched
agree-
way more live action.
Yeah.
I can agree with that because my podcast, my rules bit. I mean, Nickelodeon. It airs on a channel that really Nickelodeon made its mark with its Nicktoons, because these were 3 shows that nobody had seen before. You're so used to. I mean, when people were watching cartoons, they were so used to a lot of the real wholesome stuff, a lot of the Yogi Bears, the Hanna-Barbera. But then, like, Ren and Stimpy came out, and Rugrats came out, and Doug came out, and they were just all like, it's like nothing that no one had
That like
ever seen
set the
before.
stage for what.
Like, especially
what
Ren and
it's gonna
Stimpy,
be about.
how edgy Ren and Stimpy was. A lot of stuff you would
Mhm.
be shocked to see what they could get. There were a lot of parents that banned Ren and Stimpy in their households because, like, I was talking to people a couple of years ago at school, and I was like, oh man, yeah, I love Ren and Stimpy. And people were like, oh man, I always had Ren and Stimpy banned in my house. I was like, that's how much of an impact Ren and Stimpy had to get banned from people. I mean, it's just like your average. I mean, obviously, Ren and Stimpy was appropriate for children, where Beavis and Butthead really kind of wasn't. But Beavis and Butthead did the same thing. My number 5 is El Tigre. I thought Manny was cool. I thought his girlfriend was cool. I thought there were a lot of neat villains. I thought the ending was cool. Definitely the choice between good and evil was also cool. I'm a big fan of the video game series Infamous.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when a character has to choose between good and evil, it's always really cool to see what they have to do. Will they go for the greater good, or will they go for the other side, which would be the evil side? It's always exciting to see what a character may do. But I think most of the time for El Tigre, if I'm not mistaken, he would, if he did something that was sort of like villainous, his dad would always come in and try to like talk him out of it, and it would usually work, and he'd like learn a lesson. But Manny was definitely still like sort of a rebellious kid, which was cool.
It's like a Deadpool almost.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I can agree with that. Gav, your number 5.
Yes. Jimmy Neutron.
Jimmy Neutron. Favorite character?
You know the right answer. You know what the answer has to be.
He had his own planet.
No, not
Sheen Estevez.
Sheen.
Killy.
No. I'm thinking about
I
Sheen.
could relate with Jimmy kind of a lot because I like.
Were you,
I'm not like an
whiz kid.
absolute. Yeah, I mean like.
Did you go into school and all the kids made fun of you because you had Donkey Kong's hair and a huge, humongous
I
forehead?
mean, I kind of do now. I could spike it up.
stop making fun of me.
Miss Fowl.
Yeah, but
Miss Val.
I was always into like.
Sheen, this is
science.
the 5th time you've shown Ultra Lord.
I'm definitely a Carl guy. If you
Yes.
if you paid attention to my meme page, you don't want to toot my own horn here. But I was the creator of a thing. Instead of Woman Crush Wednesday, it was Weezer Crush Wednesday, which I have since
Oh, I remember that.
deceased.
You just
That's a good creation.
I deceased it, but I used to post a picture or video of Carl every Wednesday because I always thought Carl was a fun character. But
He
looking
is.
back, I think my favorite character is probably going to be Hugh because, like I said, usually whatever scene he was in, he always just kind of stole the spotlight. And he was really funny.
And that was his dad, right?
Jimbo.
Donut
yeah.
Boy. Donut Boy's a classic.
Donut Boy.
Favorite episode?
Favorite episode for me, the Donut Boy episode, 100%. That's the one where Quentin Tarantino guy comes in and he makes the movie about them, but it's actually the evil scientist in disguise. And Hugh Neutron goes, "Is this the part where the Donut Boy sings the Donut Boy theme song?" I love the Donut Boy theme song.
Can you sing it?
Who's the super cool cop that captures all the bad guys? Donut Boy, that's me, yeah. He brings a delicious assortment of sweet delights. Donut Boy, got a creamy filling.
That's like the only part I remember.
My favorite episode is it was even on Nickpicks DVD. The sleepover. Yeah, of course.
The pizza episode.
I always wanted pizza. I just pressed every button. I want pizza.
We're watching Jimmy Neutron after the podcast is over.
Hey, we're supposed to watch the other thing.
We're gonna watch both of them.
Yeah, Penguins and Jimmy Neutron.
Penguin. We should make a Penguins Jimmy Neutron crossover.
Who am I gonna fight, Rico or Sheep?
Rico for sure.
You know, you just cough up a rocket launcher.
Yeah, exactly.
RPG.
All right, Cam, you're up, bro. Number 4.
Number four. I think I remember it. My life as a teenage robot.
Man, not
Brad-
low enough.
Brad and Tucker Carmichael. It's not low enough. I don't really know many Nick shows. It was gonna
I'll say that was mine too, by the way.
Is your 4?
You guys have good taste.
Listen,
After rewatching that episode, we kind of watched a
yeah,
little
we
bit
watched a
last
little bit of
night.
Teenage Robot last night.
It kind of reminded me, like, I did really
It's
like
good.
that show.
It's really good.
Brad and Tucker Carmichael.
Carnbunkle.
That last name.
Guys, let's all legally change our last names to Carnbunkle.
We'll just be one giant Toonhead family.
Toonhead family, I love it. Join the ToonLads today by hitting that button down there.
And legally changing your name to Carmichael.
Yeah, join the ToonLads by changing your last name to Carnbunkle.
Come to the dark side.
Be sure to dislike and unsubscribe.
Yeah,
please.
be sure to report us and get us banned. All right, go ahead, Nolan.
Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda: Legends of Awesomeness.
Yeah. And I don't know. I remember watching the movies and then being like, "Oh, this has a cartoon now." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll check it out." And I remember watching the TV show and actually enjoying it quite a bit. That was one of those things that, like, I'd get home after school, just turn it on. I was getting a little bit older at that point, wasn't really watching cartoons as much. But whenever I was, that was usually, along with Penguins of Madagascar, was one of the things that came on quite a bit.
Can we just talk about how Nickelodeon had the habit of taking movies and turning them into TV shows?
Penguins,
Yeah.
Kung Fu Panda. Well, I don't think How to Train Your Dragons, the show aired on.
Yeah, that was-
that aired on Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network had that problem too. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Oh yeah, they did do Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Flint Lockwood. This is my only son.
Who will win a race? Usain Bolt?
Officer Earl. Usain Bolt. The fastest man alive. Number 4 for me is Tough Puppy. In my opinion, Butch Hartman's best creation.
What did TOUGH stand for?
Oh,
TOUGH was an acronym. For
it was an acronym, but I can't. I'd
Well, I'm gonna look it up real quick.
look it up real quick while I talk about what I like to talk about.
Okay, number 4, number 3.
Number 4. It was funny. It was witty. It was clever. I think how all the characters were just like super serious at times, but then they would like either break the fourth wall or tell like a really stupid joke. The Tough Puppy theme song was really catchy. Kitty Catwell was a really cool character. I liked how their manager, like the cadet guy, he was like a flea, and he rolled in on like a computer, and it was just a zoomed in picture of his face. Dudley was a really cool character. He was just like kind of like kind of like a dummy, but he definitely
You big old stupid head.
yeah, kind of. but he definitely had a sense of what was right, and he was just a really cool character too. And a lot of spy shows are usually really good too. Like
Yo, who's the lizard dude with the eyes?
the chameleon?
Yeah.
He was my
Ooh,
favorite.
silverfish.
Yeah, all the villains on there too were like actual villains, but they weren't just like if a comedy show has a villain, how the villain's like sometimes really super serious. They were all like really funny villains too. Gav, go ahead.
My life.
My
Okay,
life,
mine's
my
the same
life. Oh, XJ9.
Oh,
Yeah.
going back. Tough stands for Turbo Undercutter Fighting Force.
I think that's badass.
Oh, that's epic.
Number
important.
3, Cam.
Number 3.
Get
Is
down.
All Grown Up.
All grown up.
All grown up, I really want to shout it out. All grown up, I want the world to know.
All
Good show.
grown up, something, 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 something. All grown up. Yeah.
Honestly, they're not really all grown up. But that is how
Tommy Pickle.
Oh, Tommy Pickle. That is how I picture
Shout out to
most of them
Tommy
to look and act like at that age. It's not like there's like Tumblr like drawings where they're all super attractive hipsters.
I have an idea. All grown ups reminds me that I have a game called Seen It, and I have Nick seen it, and it's a game where
It's a DVD game, right?
it's a DVD game, and it's all Nick. We're gonna have to live stream that.
That would be fun.
Yeah, you roll the die, you move spaces.
Cartoon version or a Cartoon Network version of that?
No, they just
No?
did. I have a Disney version too. Whenever we do a Disney episode, we'll have to live stream that.
I will
But
know nothing about
You
this.
roll the die, and you roll 2 die, one to move and the other to like do like a special event. And it's all Nick related. It's early 2000 Nick too, so My Life, SpongeBob, All Grown Up, avatars that all over the place in it.
That would be cool.
Yeah, so stay tuned for the ToonLads live stream when we play Nick's Seen It. I definitely think that's a good idea. Because too bad they didn't make a Cartoon Network one. I think that would have been a good one. They have a lot
I'm
of
surprised they
different
didn't.
though. Gav, Dolan, sorry, you're number 3.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay.
I have a lot of appreciation for the show, but I've never watched it from beginning to completion. Like I said, I've only caught like a handful of episodes here and there. We all definitely have a friend though that really appreciates the show.
Oh yeah.
No,
100%.
not
What?
even Gab.
Who?
Jackson.
Jackson.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He literally went as Aang for Halloween.
Yeah, so we could probably throw a picture of that up somewhere.
Yeah, we'll throw that picture of our butt up.
Yeah.
His name,
He's
our-
really
our
into it.
bud.
I swear, he's rewatched that like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, and I'm the same way with my favorite anime as well, which I can definitely get behind the fact that he's so like into something about like that. And like I said, I didn't get to watch it from beginning to completion, although I definitely need to.
Shout out to our bud Jack, by the way. We'll have to get him on here. Jen too. She was real big into Avatar too. Shout out to Jen. That's my GF. That's totally real.
She's real. 100%.
I promise.
Maybe.
I swear I'm not lying.
Single sweat mark going down. Get the lie detector test. I'm gonna pump out my number 3. My number 3, Kablam, is my number 3.
What is Kablam?
Please explain.
Kablam was a show. It like took place in a comic book, and it was all kinds of different short cartoons. A lot of them were funny. Prometheus and Bob being my favorite. It was about an alien trying to teach a caveman how to do like everyday things, but the caveman was a dumbass and always like got the alien injured.
June Eckert too.
Nick and June, they were like the hosts, and they were both really funny. Action League Now started on Kablam, and it was sort of like action figures. They were superheroes. I remember the one about like the 2 mole brothers. It was something in Fondue. If you remember what it is, put it down in the comments. It was something in Fondue, but they were like 2 mole brothers, and they got into all like trouble and stuff like that. So if you like a show that has like a lot of short shows put into it, definitely watch Kablam. Kablam was put out. Every show was good too. It wasn't like a handful of like different it was like really bad and really good. All of them were always really good. Like I said, Prometheus and Bob was just really funny. We'll have to take a peek at that. Show you guys what Kablam is. It's really cool. Gav, your number 3.
Legend of Korra. Kind of with in the same boat as you, Nolan. I haven't actually watched the entire series.
Yeah, and
But-
Nickelodeon definitely shit canned them real hard.
It sucked.
Yeah.
What they did to Korra.
But like the episodes I did watch, like I could definitely see myself sitting down and just binging that
Yeah.
You
over
should.
like a week.
You should. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a true anime fan until you do it all in one day.
This isn't an anime
Yeah.
podcast. Go make your own anime podcast.
It's coming.
It's coming soon.
It's coming.
I'll probably be equipment guy for that one because I don't know anything about anime. That's why I don't plan on. That's why when I do an anime episode, I'll probably just be like this the whole time.
Like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like.
Do you like One Piece?
Yeah, I like watching Pop Team Epic. Pop Team Epic being my second favorite anime. Cameron Farrell, we're going to the nitty gritty. We're there. It's happening. Number 2.
Watch Mojo. Number 2. Number 2 is SpongeBob SquarePants. Only reason it's not number 1 is because 1, it was high up on my other list, and 2, they've kept the show around way too long.
Agreed.
I can agree with that.
Agreed.
I can
100%.
The newer episodes, even they even put any out a year, are not as good as they were back then. For me, I know I said in the last episode, my favorite episode was Dungeons and Dragons.
Very
It
good
is
episode.
a great episode.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people have an appreciation for Fear of a Krabby Patty.
That's probably one of mine.
Yeah, Fear of a Krabby Patty.
Very good.
Just the animation style in the episode was a little different.
It changed. Like,
Yeah, it was.
heavily. I remember watching that as a kid when it came out. It was like kind of shocking.
It's a good episode.
Mm.
I arranged him into a piano.
Like what?
The part where he has the cards.
Oh yeah.
My favorite episode is still the Magic Conch Shell episode. I love that episode.
Can I have something to eat?
No.
Nolan, the console commander. Not saying your last name because I don't want to dox you. What is your number 2?
My number 2 is Penguins Madagascar.
All right, what a number 2.
I was really thinking about switching around my number 2 and my number 1.
It's hard sometimes.
Yeah, but my Penguins Madagascar is definitely my number 2. I definitely liked the show more than I liked any of the Madagascar movies. It was definitely one of those shows where I'd come home and I'd actually be excited to sit down and watch, even though I was older at that point. I just thought all the characters were funny. I think the show has definitely taken its fair share of toe dips into meme culture, which is pretty nice. Which I have a huge appreciation for memes. And
Who doesn't?
Stay tuned. Cartoons and meme culture coming soon.
which will be a
Yes.
great episode.
That'll be a fantastic episode.
It's be like a college class, like cartoons and meme culture.
Meme studies would be such a fun class to take if that was an actual thing.
a legit
Memeologist.
course.
I also think that all the characters, even though they were supposed to be stereotypes, weren't just stereotypes, except for Rico, obviously, because he couldn't talk. Yeah.
I'm gonna pump out my number 2. It was really hard to pick between these next 2. Both of them were on my list last week, but they were not my number 1 because My Life was my number 1. SpongeBob's my number 2 pick. If you remember last week, I said I just grew up with SpongeBob. I always thought SpongeBob was funny. I can agree that I think SpongeBob should have ended after the first movie.
Yeah, agreed. That would
I
have been
think
been perfect.
I think
They're
I
just
think-
beating a dead horse at
I'm
this
not
point.
thinking after the first movie because there were a couple good episodes.
Yeah, I mean,
I
you're
don't
gonna have
see-
a couple good episodes, but a couple compared to all the classics that you got out of seasons like
Like,
2 and 3. And
It
stuff
would have
like
wrapped
that.
it up so well.
You would have had a
It would've.
really good episode. Shout out to Krusty Krab training video. My second favorite SMurder episode.
Yes.
We wouldn't have gotten Dungeons and Dragons though. That's
I
Or
could
Sailor
live
Moon.
without that rather than
Yeah,
having
I
all
could-
this stuff.
I couldn't
I
live
can,
without that.
yeah, I can give up a couple good episodes post movie, but I think I'd be content with having all of the pre-movie episodes just be the ones that are still around, because they were so like stuff from like Club SpongeBob, the Idiot Box episode, the one where they get the TV and they play in the box. That's
Oh, that
awesome.
was a great episode.
Band
Yeah.
Geeks was season 2. I mean, you got stuff like the one where they make the Krusty Krab into a fancy restaurant because Squilliam comes over and SpongeBob like cheese grinds the dude's ass. Oh, it's so funny. I could watch it over and over again.
You're
You're
talking
gonna
about
have to
meme
cut-
culture, like SpongeBob
You have
has
to cut
If
my
we're
feet
talking,
off.
if I
So
swear,
many.
the episode we do the episode when we do
It's gonna be a lot
memes,
of SpongeBob.
it's gonna be a lot of SpongeBob. SpongeBob is definitely the #1 meme show because there's so many memes that have came out of that.
You're
show.
gonna have to cut my feet off. I can't, because I've already cut my arms.
Just so many
Yeah.
memorable moments. In
There
that
is,
show.
there is. We'll get.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a SpongeBob only episode.
I would be down with that. Number 2, Invader Sim. I had this on my last list. I don't know. We already talked about it, what, two times?
Yeah, about
so
2
far?
times already. So if you
we don't need to hit up a whole lot on it. I
basically
just,
to recap, we just enjoyed how dark it was, but it also remained funny.
yeah. And Gur was my absolute favorite #1 waifu for the robot.
Shout out to Nickelodeon for not giving a release date for Enter the Fortress yet. Please do that so we can watch the TV movie. Cam, it is time. Cameron,
#1.
the man F in chat. What is your favorite Nick show of all time?
Butch Hartman's greatest creation, Danny Phantom.
Up top.
And we're off the
You know,
podcast.
I
And
had
you're off
that
the,
as my #1, but I switched it.
and you're off the podcast.
Nice.
I guess you're guys gonna tune in for the next episode, and only Shad's still gonna be here.
Yeah,
We're
everyone
all
else
off the
is gonna go.
podcast. I mean, Shad's off the podcast even. There's just gonna be no one here.
Oh man, I'm
Can we
gonna
just do an episode where, like an April Fool's episode, where it's just the couch for an hour and a
Well,
half?
now they all know about it.
yeah. Now they all know about it.
We
so
cut it.
yeah, we can cut it. But Cam, are you actually serious with that?
I'm very serious.
All right, why?
Better
would you,
than SpongeBob. Like,
why would you
better
put
than
Danny
every other-
Phantom as your number? Why do you think Danny Phantom is Nickelodeon's magnum opus?
Well, it's not Nickelodeon's magnum opus. It's Butch Hartman's magnum opus. Butch Hartman, no. I just like the art style of Danny Phantom, and I was always a fan of like the spiked hair, kind of like in
Yeah.
like anime, and the shading, and kind of like the dark colors. When he went Ghost, everything was like in a shade of green.
I can agree.
yeah.
What about his girlfriend, man?
They weren't boyfriend till like the last
I
movie.
like that. It was like a Robin Starfire thing. He never knew what was gonna happen.
Who was their friend?
The African American gentleman.
Do you ever wear glasses? Like red hat?
Tucker.
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 Carnivore.
Tucker's around, man. He's gotten around.
Yeah, dude.
I also liked him and Vlad. How
Vlad was
they
cool.
both knew each other's secret identity, but didn't say anything.
Vlad was cool.
Vlad was cool. He was a good villain.
Mm-hmm.
The dad, I mean, I like how
Mr. Fenton.
their inventions really never worked with them, but Danny always found a use for him, like the thermos.
Yep. You're right. All right. We're going to give it to the double C himself, Nolan. What
Cookie Crumble.
is your favorite Nick show?
I had to put SpongeBob with this one, man.
You got to
Same
put
here.
SpongeBob.
Same
We
here.
got double SpongeBob #1 on
Yes.
here, boys. Why don't you explain?
Definitely because of the fact, it's a classic. I can agree with everybody here that it has gone on too long, but it has that soft spot in my heart where it's just like, I have so many good memories, even now. I bet you even in like 20 years here, and I'll be 39 at that point, I could sit down and watch SpongeBob and still enjoy it.
Totally.
Oh yeah, happy
100%.
20th to SpongeBob, by the way. Celebrated the 20th anniversary of SpongeBob premiering last week. SpongeBob SquarePants is 20 years old.
Nice.
Didn't one of the people from SpongeBob die?
Yeah, the
Stephen
creator.
Rest in
Rip
peace.
Stephen Hillenburg. We
Yeah.
wish you would have been around for the Big 20, but now we know you're celebrating that Big 20 upstairs, brother. Big Rip.
Big rip.
Big Rip.
Dude, when
NFL didn't do him justice.
I was like in elementary school, I was a SpongeBob fanatic. Like,
So was I. I think
for
so was
at
every kid.
least.
That's why SpongeBob's so good, is because SpongeBob was also able to bring in not only a generation of children, but a generation of adults too.
yeah,
They're
my
all,
family liked watching it with me. Like, it was one of those cartoons where they didn't actually get annoyed
Mhm.
every time I wanted to watch it.
yeah,
They'd be like,
it's not a cartoon where even people that don't watch cartoons, he's like the Mickey Mouse of
yeah, that's a really
like-
good comparison.
21st century.
Really good comparison.
He's definitely the Mickey Mouse of the 21st. Like everyone back then would see those 3 circles and be like, "Oh, that's Mickey Mouse." Now everybody sees a yellow sponge, and people are like, "Oh, SpongeBob." Like I used to babysit this girl, and she watched like 0 cartoons outside of like Sophia the First. And we were playing a game. I was showing her like characters from shows, and she was able to guess them. But of course, I was only giving her shows that she knew. I showed her SpongeBob right off the bat. This girl was maybe like 3 or 4, and she was like SpongeBob just right off the bat. He's such an iconic character.
Yeah.
People know him. You could probably ask an 80-year-old,
Hey, who is this? Yeah.
and they'll go
Chocolate?
"SpongeBob."
You sell like chocolate?
Shout out to Chocolate.
Oh,
Fish.
yeah, and there are so many memorable moments from that show as well.
Yeah,
Like
I
that you
can
can
think
like,
of
that you can just
dozens,
quote
dozens.
Yeah.
immediately.
You do it in everyday like conversations, and then other people, everyone in the conversation will get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not one of those things where
SpongeBob.
like you say it and it's like
You can
What are
go
you
as
talking
And
about?
it's not even like an inside joke.
Yeah.
It's just like a SpongeBob joke.
Yeah,
Like,
you
people
can
get
go
it.
as man is an instrument. Literally everybody would know what you're talking about.
And
Unless
the
if you
little-
lived under a rock, no pun intended.
But if man
unless,
is
unless you lived in a pineapple under the sea.
Unless if you live in a pineapple under the sea, you will understand. Like if I came up to you and said, "Do you want to study wombology with me?"
Yes.
People should know that I'm talking about SpongeBob. He's that popular. But he was not as popular in my mind. Well, I'm gonna rephrase it. That was actually a really bad one. But
What do you mean?
I had to put him at number 2 because there was one more show
Mhm.
that I thought, in general, I kind of pushed my personal thought to the side on this one, but in general, I thought had a lot of quality to it. My number 1 is Hey Arnold.
Arnold.
Arnold is my
That's
number 1.
respectable.
respectable.
It was so like from what I understand, it was very wholesome. And
Very wholesome.
the
very,
small clips that I got that I've seen from it is definitely
it was
I can
relatable.
definitely say that.
I mean, Arnold in one episode would, play baseball against a bunch of 5th graders, and it would be really cool. And then the next episode, Arnold would help a kid get off of his stoop that was too afraid to get off of it.
You stuck in a tree in one episode.
Mm-hmm.
Chinese checkers.
Chinese checkers.
They went to the beach. Honestly,
The episode where he went down to the sewer to get his, it was his grandpa. It was either his grandpa's ring or it was amulet of some sort. I cannot remember what it was, but he goes down to the sewers and he plays checkers against this guy called the Sewer King, and it was honestly just really a really good show, really quality show.
remember when Harold and Stinky and I forget who else think they blow up the police station?
Yeah, Harold, Sid, and Stinky, they all think they blew up the police station, but they're actually demolishing the old police station to make a new one. So they become like outlaws on the run, and at the end of the episode, they like get caught at the train station. It's a really good episode. You have to bust that out after we watch Penguins and what was the other one we said we were gonna watch? Penguins and
crap.
that's not a
Must
show.
not have been that important.
Please roll up the tape.
Yeah, just Penguins. We're gonna have to delete the whole podcast now.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Restart. That
Take two.
was the ToonLads top 10 Nick shows
Oh yeah.
of all time.
Do you still want to talk about their live action
Yeah,
stuff?
I'm gonna throw it in since we're doing a whole Nickelodeon episode. This is an animation podcast, but I'm gonna allow it because Nickelodeon, on top of having good cartoons, also had a lot of really good live action stuff.
I don't think anyone's going to complain.
Yeah, I don't really think. I think it's kind of a trivial thing if you're going to complain about it. I understand that we're supposed to be a animation podcast, but
We
They had a
all
lot of
Those shows are
quality.
near and dear to our hearts.
Keenan and
That's
Kel,
what's most important here.
all that, Drake and Josh,
You can't not
Amanda
talk
Show,
about it.
Okay.
iCarly. Hell, I'll put Big Time
I have a
Rush in
question
there.
for you guys. We all know who the undisputed probably top two are.
For what?
iCarly and Drake and Josh. For live
Just
action.
the nerds.
Oh, Ned's Declassified.
That's just good.
Mm-hmm.
But probably those are the top two that people most likely know.
Yeah.
What were you guys' pick? If you had to pick
Ned's
one.
Declassified.
Oh, between iCarly and Drake and Josh. Ooh.
How about all three? We can do all three.
Ned's Declassified for me because Ned's Declassified was also.
These are gonna be. This is like
Uh,
spoilers. We're doing an actual podcast. I guess I feel.
iCarly, for me, I started watching Nick probably at the time iCarly was being big. So I had seen a lot of iCarly compared to Drake
I watched
Drake
a
and
lot
Josh.
of iCarly myself. Too.
I think if I'm going to go off of personal preference, I'm going to say Ned's. If I'm going to go off of quality, I'm going to go with Drake and Josh.
I'd go with Drake and Josh as my number one.
iCarly's right there in the middle, but
They're all
I
really
think,
good.
Yeah, all three of them were really fun.
Freddie Benson,
Freddie Benson's mom.
come here and get your ointment cream.
Talk about Gibby real quick.
Oh, shout out to Gibster.
Shout out to Gibby.
Shout out to Coconut Head from Ned's Declassified.
Remember when they
Yes.
tried to break the live stream record? Continuous live stream?
Shout out to
Is that like
Rancid
24
Rabbit from
hours?
Cat
Yeah,
Dog.
it was like a 24-hour live stream, and Spencer's art piece, when he plugs it in, all the power goes out, and they just
Oh
Completely
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Shout out to Rancid Rabbit from Cat Dog. Shout out to Daggett and Norbert. The
Neville.
Angry
What's
Beavers.
what's your favorite?
You-
If you had to pick the two, Drake and Josh
no.
and iCarly.
Drake and Josh.
Drake and Josh.
Yeah, I would say so. I probably watched more iCarly just because that's when I was growing up and it was on TV a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoyed Drake and Josh. Like,
Yeah.
just every episode was hilarious, basically. Most of the time,
Yeah.
I definitely enjoyed that.
Nickelodeon, you make really good shows. But
Sometimes you don't make the greatest business decisions,
I mean,
but
sometimes you don't make the best business decisions, but you're definitely near and dear in my heart. I probably watched you the most as a kid.
I would agree.
I watched you the most as a kid. I was definitely more of a Cartoon Network kid when it came to cartoons that I liked, but how much I really always just wanted to watch SpongeBob. I probably had Nick on more than Cartoon Network. You created my childhood when you aired SpongeBob. A lot of my family had a lot of their favorite memories, even before I was born, watching Rugrats. My grandpa, he loved Ren and Stimpy. I mean, I loved SpongeBob. My mom and dad, they loved watching Rugrats with my sister when she was born, and then when I was born, they watched SpongeBob with me. Cartoons, I think what's really cool, I'm going to kind of go out of the Nickelodeon part here and kind of go into the general cartoon aspect. I think what's really cool about cartoons is why I always wanted to do something like this, is because cartoons bring people together.
I have a lot of really good memories because my sister's 10 years younger than me, and I have a lot of good memories of just bonding with her over like sitting down watching TV shows and stuff like that.
Nickelodeon, you are, even though looking back on some shows, I can't agree were not as quality. I definitely had a lot of really good memories with the shows that you allowed me to grow up with.
You gotta respect that. Just the fact that there were so many quality.
Yeah, just the fact that I mean, SpongeBob. You can say Fanboy and Chum Chum if you're into that kind of thing. You can say Planet Sheen if you're into that kind of thing. You can say Super Duper Sumos if you're into that
Whatever
kind of thing.
floats your boat.
Yeah, exactly. If you drop your favorite Nick show down in the comments, please. Just go ahead and drop that down there.
Doesn't have to be a cartoon.
Doesn't have to be a cartoon. If you want it to be a cartoon, go ahead. If you just kind of want to stick with the general aspect of the podcast, but if you want to put down a lot of it, hell, put your top 10 favorite Nick shows down in the comments.
It's interesting to look at. See what other people.
Yeah, see what people think. I mean, you really can't talk. Even though I do have criticism with Nickelodeon right now, they're pandering too much to their older audiences with Look at this scene from Ren and Stimpy. You remember when Ren called Stimpy stupid? LOL, so funny. And a lot of their shows right now are pretty bad. I mean, if you really want to watch something quality on Nickelodeon right now, if you have Teen Nick, turn on the Nick Splat, now called Nick Rewind. They play old shows from the 90s back then. I mean, I can't go without saying hi to Nick Jr. either. They had a lot of quality stuff on there. Blue's Clues. I grew up with that. They had Dora, the Octonauts, like you were talking
I
about.
wonder, like, obviously we're going to be a little biased with these older shows. We grew up with them.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, if we were looking at it from an unbiased perspective, like, because if you talk to a kid, like, nowadays, like, say my younger brother, he would not even know what these older shows are. And, like, he'd probably just say,
I can
"These
give
are
a couple
stupid."
newer recommendations. If you're looking for a slice of life, a little bit of a fun time, watch Loud House. If you're still a SpongeBob kid,
That's fine.
SpongeBob has been around, keep watching SpongeBob. If you're looking for a show, now I did not have the show on my list. I actually am kind of hitting myself not having the show on my list. Harvey Beaks. Watch Harvey Beaks. Harvey Beaks was created by the same dude that did Chowder, C.H. Greenblatt. Please watch Harvey Beaks if you want to have a fun time. It is another slice of life. Harvey's just such a fun character. Fee and Foo are such fun characters. It's not a show that kind of remains slice of life. It's definitely a show. If you want to relive your glory days and maybe hanging out with the bros or the friends during summer break, definitely watch Harvey Beaks. But for a newer show that I had, other than Harvey Beaks, I'd have to recommend. There's not that. It's sad that that Nickelodeon hasn't really came out with a thing that I can look at and be like, this is fine. Like Pig Goat Banana Cricket's a thing that exists. That's just really not that good of a show.
It's apparently it's not because I haven't heard a single thing about it.
Me neither.
If you're looking for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, looking for an action cartoon is really good. Watch the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too.
I like that.
Yeah, that one wasn't bad.
That's a new one?
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a newer one. I think right now they're still going on, but they're like in space or something.
They started a new one.
They started a new one.
Did they rise? Oh, the rise of TMNT. I don't know how that is. I heard the art style and stuff, and that one's pretty cool. Watch that. But if you're gonna ask me what I would suggest for a newer generation, it's kind of hard for me to pick when it comes to Nickelodeon because Nickelodeon has such slim pickings outside of, like I said, maybe Harvey Beaks, maybe SpongeBob, maybe Lettuce. I would have to recommend something from another channel. But like I said, like all four of us have already stated, we grew up with Nick, but there's a lot of stuff that I can agree Nick did do that was forgettable. Like I think Fanboy and Chum Chum's forgettable. I mean, Bunsen is a Beast is a thing that exists. That's an awful show.
I can't stop laughing at it.
Yeah, Bunsen is a Beast is so bad.
Bunsen. Sounds like we need to burn it over a Bunsen burner.
You know,
Yeah,
this
sounds like a
is
good
off
idea.
topic, but this came up in my feed. Nickelodeon's green slime is now available in ice cream form. Would you guys try it?
I would try that.
I would try it.
It rolled out apparently in stores April 29th.
Gonna give a shout out to it's now not a thing anymore. The Nickelodeon Hotel in Orlando, Florida. Bit of a story time here on the podcast. We'll save that for next week. But it's just another reason Cartoon Network's better.
Yeah.
I know. It's
Yeah.
just gonna do a quick story time real quick. 2008 for my birthday, Nick opened a hotel in Orlando. It's like a Hampton Inn Suites or something, and it was stylized to early 2000s Nick and stuff. And I went there for my 8th birthday, and I got slimed.
Really?
You got slime.
I went to a show.
Horrific.
I
That
went
would be
to
the highlight of my life as a kid. I got slime.
It was. It truly
That sounds
was.
awesome.
I went to the Nick Hotel and they had like a game show. Earlier in the day at the water park, they had like a competition between two families to see who would be the other family competing in a game show at like 8 o'clock that night.
Mm-hmm.
Did your family
Um,
win?
Well, they had to pick 2 people from the family, and my dad and I were the 2 guys that went up. And it was like a fairly Odd Parents style game. I think he had like one person had to dress up as a fairy and like fling water balloons, and the other person had to like put a pink cap on like Timmy and catch balloons in a basket. I believe that's how it went. I'd have to really look back and think. My dad and I won by like 2 balloons, and they signed me up for the game show later on that night. My family's losing by like not 5 points. It's like 5-3. The other family's winning, and the other family has a chance to win the game. And the host of the game show is like, "It's time for a SpongeBob question," and I was like, "Oh man, this is gonna be really easy probably." And they got it wrong. The question was, who is SpongeBob's next door neighbor? Next door neighbor. Now it's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Who's
Squidtard.
Squid Boy. Where the dog they love.
Squidward tentacles.
Yeah.
Squidward tennis
They
balls.
said Patrick,
I could see how they could mess that up.
and I could too.
Like, oh, it's his best
But
friend.
as soon as they said Patrick and the host said wrong, my dad was like, "Who?" So he whispered Squidward. I said Squidward, and we won 6-5.
That's awesome.
And they put me inside of a little kiddie pool. They lowered this little crane thing, and I got slimed.
That is beautiful.
And it was 100% the best thing.
Is that all you won, or what did you else win?
I got slimed. That was my prize. I got slimed.
That's a great.
That is a great prize,
It's,
honestly.
if you're a kid and you're getting slimed, so
That's heaven right there. Wow.
that hotel is cool. I'll have to break out the pictures on my Wii. I have the photo
Photo
app
up
on
here.
my Wii, and I have pictures from me at the hotel. I'll have to download those, and we'll put them on the Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Make sure you follow us. I'm gonna cut it off here. That's gonna be the end of the episode. The Nick episode. It was a very big drag. I do apologize for it being a very big drag. All 4 of us are definitely, as you can tell, not as big as Nick kids as we are.
That definitely
Cartoon
scares
Network.
me for the Disney episode.
Well,
I don't even
For
know if
the-
we should do that.
for the Disney episode, I think I'm just gonna make it about Disney movies.
That works. I can do
Disney
that.
Okay,
movies.
okay.
I can do
Yeah,
movies.
that'll work.
Next week on ToonLads, it is Cartoon Network time. It's going to be
Yeah.
a lot better. I think I'm gonna think of something else, not a top 10. I gotta think. I don't know what I'm gonna do. If you have suggestions for what we can do for a Cartoon Network episode, throw them out. But for right now, I think I'm gonna take out the top 10 for the Cartoon Network episode. Maybe do something like I got an idea. Here's what we'll do. We're gonna have a little bit of fun. I'm the host. You 3 are the contestants. We're gonna play Cartoon Network trivia.
Oh, that's great.
Ooh.
That'll be fun.
We're gonna play Cartoon Network trivia. I'm gonna throw out 90s questions, early 2000s questions, current questions, boomerang questions. I'm gonna create a list of
Right.
questions. The winner gets a prize. What that prize is you're gonna get slimed.
On Cartoon Network.
Yes. No, I'm kidding.
I think Andrew WK should just come out and tell me destroy, build, destroy.
I'm gonna okay, you know what? I'm thinking it's either gonna be whoever wins gets a prize, whoever gets the least amount of points gets punished with something really embarrassing.
Andrew
Why doesn't
WK.
the winner gets to punish the loser?
The winner will get to punish the losers. The losers.
Losers.
Whoever wins gets to do a double punishment against the 2 losers.
Oh, dang.
I'm your host, Mr. Shadley. This is Gav. This is Console Commander. This is Cameron. We are the ToonLads. Signing off.
I think Andrew WK should just come out and hit us with a